So your race readiness score came back, and I think you're an engine. Most engines think that just doing more volume and getting fitter will solve all their problems. But actually, that's not the case, because a lot of the time, it's the wrong tool for the job. Getting stronger allows you to produce more force so you can get faster, and it makes you far more robust and resilient to injuries, especially in the problem areas that runners face. The engine is one of the profiles that I see a lot, and everything I'm about to walk you through in this video is specific to your result, not a list of generic tips. So keep watching, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to implement strength training in your routine to benefit your fantastic aerobic base without it affecting the quality of your running. So you're more than happy ripping a long run or a 5K, but when it comes to strength training, you'd rather skip it entirely or just do some light banded bodyweight exercises at home because you think that lifting heavy isn't applicable for you. Even though Kipchoge was lifting heavy 3 times a week in the run up to breaking the 2-hour marathon barrier. And it's not a discipline problem, it's a training split problem, which I'm gonna help you fix by showing you exactly how you can jiggle around your training split and some example sessions that you can weave into your week so you're not super fatigued from the gym work and you're not spending hours training every week. My name is Oscar, I'm a running and high rocks coach, and I help self-improving people like you pick, prep, and PB your next race in 16 weeks with strict-backed, bespoke coaching that simplifies the fitness experience. So let's talk about the priorities that the engine has. The first thing that the engine needs to do is they need to add strength sessions. You just have to carve out more time in your schedule for those sessions. And ideally, you're gonna be adding 2 full body sessions a week. And if you don't make time to work on those qualities, then they're never gonna improve. We need it to get faster. We need it to make our tissues more resilient to handling volume so we can get fitter. It's really important. We need to devote a little bit of time to it. Now, another thing that we need to focus on is basically protecting our easy run volume. It's so important when you're adding new, potentially quite hard, damaging, fatiguing stimuli into your training regime that you're tweaking all of the parts of your training program. If you decide to go like that and then you fall off a cliff and you're injured, you've missed out on this much progress in a short space of time. And the final thing that I want to say is you should probably think about tracking your load as well as your mileage, because the amount of sets, reps, the amount of tonnage that you do each week matters. God, I'm so bad at ripping this paper. So here's how you're gonna build it into your program. Right now, you might run a lot of the days of this week, or you might do classes. You go for a run with your friends on the weekend. This is ideally the structure that you're going to do. You're going to do 2 strength sessions throughout the week. You're going to do full body 1, and you're going to leave a good amount of rest, and then you're going to do full body 2. And you're going to keep as much of the easy stuff in as you can. So I'd recommend probably doing your hard session either on Wednesday or Sunday when you've had the most amount of time to recover. So let's say you're a runner, you want to do your hard session when you're least fatigued from the hard strength work. So I'm going to do my threshold session here. It might be 5 by 6 mins at kind of like LT2-ish. Zone 3, this is just an example. You've peppered in some easy runs, that's 60 minutes. And honestly, zone 1 is probably better than zone 2. Easy, maybe you're doing a long run here. Again, you might be tempted to do some more marathon specific efforts at this point. Don't. Just keep it easy, at least for kind of like the first, I'd say 6 weeks, while your tissues are adapting to this new stimulus. And then on your full body, you're going to be doing a push, a pull, a squat, and a hinge. Those are your 4 fundamental movement patterns that you really need to be covering the bases of during your strength session. So let's say you're going to do a dumbbell bench here, and then for your pull, maybe you're going to do like a lat pull down, and then for your squat, say you're going to do, you might want to do a safety bar squat with a nice tempo. to make sure that your form's good. And for your hinge, you're going to do like a dumbbell RDL. Exercises which probably maybe the most intimidating out of all of them is a safety squat bar. Maybe your gym doesn't have one, you just want to do a normal goblet squat or a back squat. Now, your rep scheme, I would say, is you're going to do 2 to 3 sets of 4 to 6 reps with a good 120 seconds rest. And you want to be resting lots, lifting heavy, but I would say probably lifting to around 7 to 8. Now, the reason that we don't want to go all the way to failure is because when you get to failure, the amount of kind of muscle damage and fatigue and soreness that you get the following day is going to go up massively. So say we've got our scale from 0 to, you could not physically do another repetition, whereas 0, you know, there's no effort whatsoever. So 10 might be like your VO2 max running intervals. You're literally going all out as fast as you can, a max effort sprint, whereas, you know, 0, you're sitting down. So if we think about it as the number of reps that you left in the tank, 7 to 8, you maybe left 2 to 3 reps in the tank that set. So you're going to aim for a weight that you could have got 2 or 3 more for that given set. So for me, that might be, I don't know, 100 kilos on squats. I can do 4 reps and maybe I would have got 2 or 3 more reps, therefore it was an RP 7 to 8. So that's kind of how it works. And then on your second full body, you can change up the exercises. So maybe, you know, instead of doing a dumbbell bench, you decide that you want to do a barbell bench, or you want to do a shoulder press. Instead of your safety squat bar, you want to do a single leg press. The idea is we're keeping movement variety between the 2 full body days, but we're still working across these kind of like fundamental movement patterns, which is really important. So now you can kind of see what your week might look like. And there's an example for you in the PDF, so it's nice and clear. I think there are a few other kind of considerations that I want to say. The first tip is that RPE should start low. And the reason for that is when you start adding new strength stimuli into your program, they're going to feel hard. There's a lot of soreness, maybe there's a bit of skill requirement as you learn to do the lift. And if your intensity is really high, you're not going to be ingraining proper movement patterns. Instead of using your quads in a high bar squat, you're going to be hitching the weight up and using your back and hips more, turning it into a low bar squat. You know, that's not the goal of the exercise there. So for good technique, for good motor patterns, and also for less muscle soreness, i.e. being able to be better recovered for your hard sessions, that's why you want your RP to start low. And then the second point I wanted to say for engine archetypes is you can't miss out on the muscles that are really hammered by running. A couple of them really stand out to me. One of them, so I'll put weaknesses here. One of them is lateral hip. So your glute medius, those muscles in the side of your hip are massive contributors to knee stability. And if they're not working properly, maybe your knee is picking up too much, your ankle is picking up too much slack, you're getting post-tib soreness, which is shin splints, you might be getting Achilles issues, you might be getting patellar tendonitis. It's really important that your lateral hip is strong and working properly to be able to handle the demands of both squatting, deadlifting, and running at the same time. Another area is your calves. When you're running quickly, I think your soleus ends up transferring about 8 times the force of your body weight through one leg at a time. That's when you're running really, really fast. So you need to be training your calves hard. And if you're struggling to train your calves hard because a full calf raise makes them too sore, you can always do isometric work. That's going to really help your tendon stiffness. It's going to help bring lots of load through your lower leg complex whilst, you know, not having all of the muscle damage and fatigue associated with the full concentric and eccentric movements. And then finally, your core. There's so much rotational force that a company's running. It's really a good idea to train stuff like your obliques, like your QL. Basically help resist some of this rotational force. Now, am I a big fan of stuff like Pallof presses? No, not really, because I feel like if you're really good at creating movement, you're probably going to be fine at resisting it too. So I would rather do a twist, a side bend, something that's lengthening and strengthening the muscles, because if I'm mega strong at using weight in a stable movement with those types of exercises, then I'm definitely going to be strong at like resisting them. Just like if I can do a weighted sit-up with 20 kg, my plank is probably going to be half decent as well. So that's sort of my thinking for the problems that the engine archetype faces and how I would go about programming my way around them for success. And this is exactly what we map out in your hybrid strategy call. We look at your results from your scorecard, we determine your weaknesses, what an appropriate plan for the next 16 weeks might be, so we can get you on the road to picking, prepping, and PBing your next race as soon as possible. So if that sounds like you, use a link in the description or one of the buttons on the PDF to book a free hybrid strategy call with me, and we can talk everything over, because I'm sure you'll have questions after watching this video. And remember, everything you've heard now is specific to your scorecard. I'm so keen to show people how racing can reignite their love for health and fitness that I want to bring it to you too. So if you've got any questions at all, or you want to jump on that free call, then you know what to do. Just hit one of the links below or follow my stuff and for more Hyrox and running tips.